Hi, and welcome to 510 News Special Report Edition. I'm Trey Lockhart. There are many people who have a hand in our journey to become a pharmacist. Earlier, my colleagues Rachel and Amanda sat down with one of those people, Mrs. Jane Condee, the Assistant Director of Experiential Education, to discuss how she found her path to UC.
Thanks, Trey. Today we are here with Miss Jane Condee, and we are going to ask her some questions about being a pharmacist. When you were a kid, did you know what you wanted to do when you grow up?
Well, when I was really young, I always thought I wanted to be a teacher, maybe a nurse. And then as I got older, in junior high is when I really started looking into things I would be interested in. And I wanted to do something in the medical field, because I found out that I like science a lot. So I thought I'd do something in the medical field, and that's when I stumbled upon pharmacy. That was one of the careers that I looked at, and I thought, that sounds perfect for me. And so I never really lost the enthusiasm to go to pharmacy school from when I was in junior high school.
When did you first become interested in pharmacy, and why?
In junior high school is when I really became interested in pharmacy, because I had researched different careers in the medical field, and I thought pharmacy was a good fit for me.
What school did you obtain your pharmacy degree from?
I went to West Virginia University School of Pharmacy in Morgantown.
Through school, did you know what kind of pharmacist you wanted to be?
Well, through pharmacy school, at that time, you had to find an internships to do in the summer between your years in pharmacy school. And I worked at Trevelyan's Pharmacy, which is an independent community pharmacy in the Charleston here. And I really enjoyed community pharmacy. I like to speak with the patients when they come in to pick up the prescriptions. And as an intern, I got to work at the snack bar. They had like a counter. I made milkshakes and things like that. But it was fun because you got to interact with the customers and the patients. And so I always thought I would do community pharmacy. And it wasn't until I was doing a hospital rotation during my last year of pharmacy school that I decided that I preferred hospital pharmacy.
So what jobs have you had as a pharmacist?
Well, my very first job was a hospital pharmacist at CMC General Division, and I worked there for like 12 years. And as part of my job there at CMC, I was an inpatient pharmacist, but I also was a consultant pharmacist for a skilled nursing facility that was across the street from the hospital. So I would have to go in at least once a month and review the charts for the patients in the skilled nursing facility once a month, as well as my duties at the hospital pharmacy. And then after that, I went to work because I wanted a part-time position with their home infusion division that CMC had at the time. So I did home infusion for several years. And then they sold it to Highland Hospital, that outpatient departments. And so I worked for Highland Hospital in home infusion, and I was the manager of the infusion pharmacy for Highland Hospital. And then I decided that maybe I should go on my own. So at that point, I left there and worked in my own infusion pharmacy.
What inspired you to open your own pharmacy?
Well, what really inspired me is probably my husband, because he has a business degree and he had always wanted to have a business. And so when we researched different businesses, we really couldn't agree on one that was a fit for both of us. And there was a infusion pharmacy that was leaving the area, and I felt like that might be a good opportunity to go into the market, because there would be a little place there that we could fit in. And since I had been the manager at Highland Hospital's infusion pharmacy, I knew how to set one up from the beginning. I knew how to get the contracts, and I knew it from how to bill, how to get a computer system, all that stuff. So I sort of knew the setup process, and he would know the business side. So that's sort of why we got brave and decided to branch out on our own.
What was the most challenging aspect of owning your own pharmacy?
The responsibility is probably the most challenging thing, because you are responsible for the employees. You know, if you don't, you want to make sure that you make payroll, and then you have your patients out there and you're responsible for them. So if another employee doesn't take care of the patient like you would want. You're still ultimately responsible, and then it's just a 24-hour-a-day process because you are ultimately responsible for everything.
While owning your own pharmacy, did you get to mostly work as a pharmacist, or were you more occupied doing like more manager duties?
A little bit of both. I was fortunate because my husband, has a business degree. So, but when we very first opened, I had to do the payroll. I had to, pay the bills and all that. So that was rough in the beginning until we got enough business till it warranted for him to come quit his job and become the manager. So after that, I mostly was just a pharmacist. And the thing about infusion pharmacy that's really interesting is that it's sort of a mix between community and hospital pharmacies, because there's clinical pieces to it, because when you're making IV products, antibiotics at home, you need to review the labs. So you do lab reviews, you make recommendations, you may write TPNs. Sometimes the doctor will just say put him on vancomycin, and you have to determine the dose and everything for him. So it was a little bit of everything. A lot of coordination goes into it because you coordinate between the nursing agency that's going to go out to the home to actually help administer the patient, and then the patient's family, got to coordinate around doctor's appointments and things like that. So there's a little bit of everything involved in it.
So that's very interesting. What brought you to University of Charleston from that?
Well, we were very fortunate. Our business got to be very successful, and so we had a larger, more national company come and was interested in purchasing the pharmacy, and so we felt that it was one of those opportunities we really couldn't pass up. So we went ahead and sold the pharmacy to the larger corporation. And at that time, I didn't really know what I wanted to do as far as my pharmacy career. And it's hard to work for somebody else once you've had your own business and your autonomy. So someone told me about the position for assistant director for experiential education here at UC. And since I had always been a preceptor, for 25 years, and liked working with students, enjoyed it, and I thought it would really be a challenge to learn something new in a whole area of pharmacy I really had never dreamed of doing. So here I am.
If you could go back, would you become a pharmacist again, or would you choose a different path?
I've never once regretted becoming a pharmacist. To me, it's just been the perfect career. I enjoy working with people, and I enjoy the team work with the physicians and nurses, and I definitely think pharmacy is definitely what I would choose again, no doubt.
So since you've been through owning your own pharmacy, would you recommend it to other pharmacy students?
It is. I think that I'm a little bit nervous about today's climate with the changes in insurance coverage and things like that. I would definitely do it again, but I would think that you need to look long and hard about where you are, your competition, things like that. But it's very rewarding to own your own pharmacy. But definitely be very diligent in searching where you want your pharmacy to be.
Thanks for coming and talking to us today. It was a pleasure.
Well, thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.